front row.
So another change in the starting lineup for the Splitters from last match against CSUN. Colton Mendez will get the start as one of the two outsides. But here we go, and Cole Schobel quickly fires an unforced error going over on two, and it'll be a point for Lincoln Memorial, Katie.
And that was a perfect pass from Walmer, so hard for Schobel to not swing at that ball.
Schobel looks for George Bruning and touch that on the inside of the block. And Bruning, Katie, has been fantastic for UC Santa Barbara, especially down the stretch against Pepperdine. Some clutch swings when the Gauchos needed him most.
Yeah, that was the most consistent match I've seen from George Bruning. 16 kills, but also hitting almost 350. So big time swings, but also so efficient, limited his errors, and he was steady for the Gauchos.
The Gauchos running the exact same starting six and libero as last match against Pepperdine. And the Rail Splitters off to some early points over the Gauchos.
And that was Van Bars, their senior, out of the Netherlands. So he is going to be a player to watch for the Rail Splitters.
Van Bars was an IVA preseason first team selection. But back is Oisin Walsh, just a freshman from the state of Illinois. Out of system look now for Riggs Guy. And here comes Saint. First look will miss out of bounds, and a point for the Rail Splitters.
And Ethan Saint turning that ball just a little bit too much from the back row. He saw that opening on the sideline.
And now an early challenge for UC Santa Barbara. So Rick McLaughlin using the green card, an early challenge in this match. As it stands, a 3-1 Lincoln Memorial lead. Katie, what would you look for the Gauchos in this match after their big upset against Pepperdine just a few days back?
It's such a great win for the Gauchos, and I think what they need to find is consistency in not only the match, but in their consecutive wins. So this will be a big test for them. They are the favorite, but they need to show consistency in getting it done, whether it's a top 10 team or Lincoln Memorial, who's number 19. And this is also going to lead them into challenging something earlier in the play, but the point will stay with Lincoln Memorial.
And right back to Saint, out of the pipe.
And I love that set from Schobel. He has so much confidence in his attackers. Right after Ethan Saint makes that error, he goes back to him. That's the way to get your players in their groove early on.
And Schobel back to serve. 10 kills in the last 2 games for the starting setter. What he does, just 6'1", the frame of the starting Gaucho setter.
On Riggs Guy, that set from Bruning, very tight. Another look here. And it will be Inbar Shahar out of Israel, just a sophomore.
Sets up the middle, dug perfectly by Zachary Zion. And Saint didn't get over the net. Point for the Splitter.
Huge dig from Zion. This ball just missing at the top of the tape. So 2 errors to start the game for Ethan Saint.
So remains with the freshman from Oaklawn, Illinois. And that's wedged into the pin and off the inside of the block, and a point for Santa Barbara.
And a smart swing from Riggs Guy. He's so good on the right side at chipping off the block and getting the tool.
And here is Riggs Guy, the top returning offensive player in terms of statistical categories from last year's team. Team that lost a lot of veterans, but due to some injuries, the Gauchos cycled in a lot of players last year, and that was out of the middle. Raya Milosavljevic, the junior transfer from Quincy University.
And LMU doing a great job at controlling that first pass. So they had their middle available.
And that's one thing that they found a little success against CSUN in a match where they hit under 100. The outsides were handcuffed, but the middle blockers, when they were able to find them, were successful, and the Gauchos working off the outside.
So a good swing there. Ethan St. Sing hands in front of him, and he goes high off hands. Here's Mikey Denver. He's come in a couple of matches ago and made a big impact, not only on his attack, but he plays great defense.
What a dig by Schobel. And Bruni in some high hands, and also couldn't be shoveled up by Van Barge. He'll want that one back in the back row.
And these are the plays that I love out of Mikey Denver. He comes in, he's able to have the ball control he needs to be the setter, be a defender, even though he is a middle blocker.
And that ball cranked down the right side. Johan Negron, the senior from Puerto Rico. A very young team. He's one of those veterans, Katie.
And this is one of the players to watch from the coaching staff. They said he brings seniority, leadership, and he's worked really hard to get to this level.
Gaucho's able to recycle the point. Here comes a look from Saints, able to slither it through the block.
Super smart decision to take a little bit off. He saw that there was 3 blockers in front of him, and that leaves a lot of open space in the middle of the court.
Back now, George Bruning to serve for Santa Barbara. Bruning named to the Big West preseason team. They'll miss here. LMU will take an 8-6 lead, but George Bruning, third most in the Big West with kills entering today, Katie, with 145.
Yeah, he has been definitely the go-to for the Gauchos, and, you know, great efficiency out of him in the last few matches.
Overpass induced by the serve by Negron. All the way over to Saint. Couldn't be brought up by Zion. And Ethan Saint, after a couple early errors, they're going to him a lot to the outside.
And a lot of credit to Schobel here. Watch how he flicks that set so fast. The blockers are hanging with Pilkvist in the middle, and he gets a one-on-one connection for Saint.
Nice dig by Saint in the backcourt. And Bruning off hands, but he was out of the back row. Did not clear that 3-meter line, and a foot fault. So a point for LMU, they lead 9-7. Lincoln Memorial plays a D1 independent with some affiliation to the Intercollegiate Volleyball Association. 7-4 entering today. Now the system look, and Schobel on the give and go.
What a fun play. I love that about Schobel. He's so fun. But credit to Walmer here, who's the brother of Jack Walmer, one of the great setters at UCSB. And he sets a quick set out to Schobel. That's out of system play that looks in system.
Dylan Pilkvist back to serve. Good contact and sets up the rip by Oisin Walsh. The freshman hitting 261 entering today.
And the middles for LMU, big impact here, and they're controlling that first pass. But look at Walsh, only one blocker in front of him, and that's going to be a key for LMU if they can keep that ball control and keep their middles involved.
Nice cover by Walmer. Right now the Splitters hitting 364 after last match, hitting 100, under 100 against CSUN. The D-ball, the back row, and shoveled up by Bruning. Got the dig, got the kill, and Bruning, his third.
And that's an incredible angle from Bruning. That ball falling around the 10-foot line, just a very sharp angle, and Schobel leads him over that 10-foot line so well.
So Schobel, the last 2 games against Pepperdine, 10 kills, no errors on 14 swings, along with 69 assists between the 2 matches combined, Katie. It's been incredible what he's been able to do for this UCSB team.
Yeah, and he provides such a spark. He plays with so much joy, and it's fun to watch. And that's what you want in a setter, because that position inherently is the captain of the team. So He keeps them playing loose and fun.
Shahar, but roofed.
That was a solo block if I've ever seen one. It was just all Bruning. Look at this press from him. He knew exactly where the hitter was going.
Riggs guy, a bullet of a serve. And a free chance now for Santa Barbara, down by 1. Mendez on the set. It will be covered well by Milosojevic. And that didn't get over the net. 4 contacts for Santa Barbara.
So good rally there. It looked like the set was a little low for Riggs guy here in the back row. But the Splitters really doing a nice job at keeping the rally alive. Great defense.
Just the 3rd true road match for Lincoln Memorial. Deucing the overpass, but a net violation on the Splitters will nullify what would have been a point, and the Gauchos will pick up their 11th of this opening set. Mikey Denver survey. Katie, you've already alluded to it, but Mikey Denver, the Santa Barbara native, really stepped up in recent games for Santa Barbara. Mendez, Schobel comes flying in. Mendez, one of the outside hitters being brought into this lineup today. He's going to have a crack at it right here.
Wow.
And no touch.
And that was close. I love that Mendez is going in hard and has to be aggressive. He has to swing high.
All tied at 12 here in the opening set. And Reja Milosojevic, the 6'6" middle blocker from Serbia, puts that ball away.
And again, great consistent with his middles.
And Bruning picks up another kill, his 4th. And Bruning, who's entering today, hitting .226. 4th kill on 7 swings, 1 error for George.
And he's a special athlete because he's almost just as efficient from the front row as he is from the back row and vice versa. And that's big to have an attacker who can do both in 6 rotations.
This is going to be a net Santa Barbara. They're going to have a chance at a free ball, but negated by the net violation. A couple of nets early in this one. Splitters by 1, opening set after just 8 points in the opening set against CSUN on Wednesday. Got swept by the Matadors. Game 2 of the West Coast swing will be facing Pepperdine. And Riggs guy on the inside of the block, out of the back row.
And it almost looked like that was blocked by the Splitters, but it just barely went between the seam in the block. So the Splitters leaving a little opening, and Riggs guy takes advantage.
Ethan Saint back to serve, just the sophomore for UC Santa Barbara. And Mendez roofed by Schobel.
And that was great technique from Schobel. That's hard to do because he knew he was going to be tooled on that ball, so he turned his right hand in, really sealed that block.
Schobel has been doing everything for UC Santa Barbara. Entered and came to this program last year for spending his first year at Loyola Chicago. Right back to Mendez. Sharp cross court and a net on the splitter, so another net violation and a point for UC Santa Barbara.
And it looks like Mendez is, after he's hitting, he's falling into the net. So it's kind of a question of whether that ball is down before he does net, but he has done it a couple of times.
The lead is at 2 for Santa Barbara. Negron out of the back row finds a touch and a point for the Splitters.
And again, a really aggressive side-out swing from the Splitters. They have not put any softness on their swings. They have just been aggressive from the get-go, and I love that mentality.
Here comes George Bruning, high flying out of the back row. Point UCSB.
And Bruning now leading the Gauchos with 5 kills.
Bruning on Wednesday, 6 kills against Pepperdine. Back now is Dylan Pilkvist. 6th start of the season today for UC Santa Barbara. Head coach Rick McLaughlin. Once again, lead at 2 for the Gauchos. And Mendez, a quick arm.
And a great back row swing from Mendez there. Another look here.
Roisin Walsh, the 6'4" middle blocker with the service. Negron chisels it off hands, and we are tied at 17. And
a lot of energy. It looks like they've held the momentum in this first set, even though the score UCSB is up by 1. But I really think Lincoln Memorial bringing more energy at this moment.
When you look back to both the last matches for UC Santa Barbara, the massive upset against Pepperdine, and you feel like this is a match, Katie, you alluded to it in the open for the Gauchos with UCLA next Wednesday. Gauchos know the importance of this match. The expected favorites being ranked 14 against the number 19 Lincoln Memorial Rail Splitters, and we'll see what comes the rest of the way here tonight. And a point for Santa Barbara.
And that was a good call. That was a back row attack from Negron there. He stepped onto that 10-foot line before taking off on his jump.
Lead back to 2 for Santa Barbara. Working on Mendez on the serve from Schobel. St. picks up the dig. And a transition bid by Bruning. Couldn't find a touch. Tried to tool, and a point for LMU.
And that set was drifting tight, so Bruning trying to push it down, but just missed wide.
And Bar Shahar, the 6'1" center from Israel, entered off the bench in the last game against the CSUN Matadors, gets the start today. It was a good control touch to 3 for UCSB, courtesy of Riggs Guy and his service pressure. Nice play by Bruning, but it'll go down as a kill for Axel Van Bars.
Wow, and you don't see that often, the roll shot in indoor volleyball. Usually a beach volleyball move, but Van Bars at 6'7" uses that height to drop one short.
That's just going to miss out of bounds. Point for UCSB, hitting 22-19. Mikey Denver back to serve. Gauchos pushing out the exact same starting lineup as they did on Wednesday against Pepperdine. All starting 6 along with their libero has not changed. Mendez, newly instated after last match against CSUN. Another chance in transition. Gets it this time.
And a good tool off hands. He has 3 blockers in front of them. So it's a smart move going for the tool.
Milosavljevic, the junior transfer from Serbia, back to serve. Working on Walmer. And look at that set, look at that block from the Splitters. And they're within 1.
And they've had success as an independent school, ranked number 19 in the country.
So the serve will be with the junior transfer from Quincy University, Reja Milosavljevic. Got 4 aces on the year. And it's a 1-point affair here in the first. It's made from the equipment, but an added system look now for Saint. Mendez well on net into the triple block of UC Santa Barbara.
And great patience from the Gauchos, really waiting on that block. It was a high set off the net.
George Bruning back to serve for UCSB. Leading the way, averaging 3.5 kills a set. To Mendez, nearly kept up by Schobel, but that water falls down for a Rail Splitters point.
Well, that was a big side out from the Splitters, and they continue to take big swings. Colton Mendez not having his most efficient start to the night, but he's gotten critical kills.
Bruni, nice back row combination. See a big dosage of number 5 throughout the rest of the year now in his sophomore campaign. Set point number 1 for Santa Barbara.
El Segundo High, coached by the great Tim Hovland.
In the first look, looking to go to the middles and quickly to the outside, and dug well by Zion. The blocking game continues to be noted in this game. The 6th block created for Santa Barbara, just 1 for Lincoln Memorial.
And again, it's such great attention to detail, and Mikey Denver really leading that block. He has to make sure that both the pins are lined up with him.
So it remains with Pilkvist. The Gauchos were selected, tied 4th in the Big West preseason poll. And another illegal back row attack from that right side.
A back row attack, but also another block from the Gauchos. So Riggs Guy getting all the way to the pin.
Early 2-point jump for UCSB after taking the first 25-22. Pilkvist, just a freshman from El Segundo. 7 aces so far this season, entering tonight. That ball's kept up, but out of bounds, and a kill for George Bruni, already his 7th.
And good communication from the Gaucho bench, telling the team that that ball was out.
And a quick 3-0 run for the Gauchos, courtesy of the freshman Pilkvist. Hittable ball for Saint, but an unforced error as Riggs Guy was able to track it down. The first point for the Rail Splitters of the 2nd set. Oisin Walsh now back to serve for Rail Splitters. Graduate of Oaklawn Community High School just last year. Freshman season, and what a play from Schobel to keep that ball up. That ball was a rocket, and out of bounds, point for UCSB.
I think he was mad at us. That ball was aimed straight at us, and it was a little scary. A lot of heat from Van Bars there.
The point for the Gauchos, and Cole Schobel now back to serve. We've already seen it tonight, what the lefty has been able to do throughout this season. He's got 1 kill tonight. Nice control touch from Santa Barbara. Covering his own shot was Mendez. Van Bars. Van Bars once again off hands, and the Splitters will claim their 2nd point in the 2nd.
And a great defensive rally, both sides going all out. This time Van Bars seeing that 3-person block and turning it across his body to get the tool.
Back to serve, now it's Imbar Shahar. Remember, he did not start the match against CSUN. Came in as a reserve. And Shahar getting the nod today as the starting setter. And Riggs Guy is roofed, working on the right side. And a point for LMU.
And that's a big block from Lincoln Memorial. Just their 2nd block on the match. UCSB at 6 blocks.
Lincoln Memorial averaged 2 blocks a set. The Gauchos right at that same figure. Gauchos get the serve back, leading 5-3. They lead the match 1-0. Took the first 25-22 over the Splitters, and Riggs Guy, the All Big West freshman team selection last year, back to serve. Nice up by Riggs Guy.
And again, Lincoln Memorial, so much success out of their middles. Great effort from Riggs guy, but just a phenomenal swing.
Here's Van Bars. A number of players named to the IVA preseason team. Gaucho's got a good pass. Denver couldn't put that ball away. And Bruning is roofed. And a couple big blocks in this second set for the Splitters.
And I love the grit from the Splitters. They were able to keep that ball alive somehow and then put up a big roof.
Just in the last match, hit under 100 against the Matadors. And Saint, an unforced error, as Schobel is able to tee him up with one hand, and the Splitters now take the lead. And it's
defense going on, and there's not a lot of kills, just clean kills happening.
That ball is down. A dig and a kill for Zachary Zion.
And again, a great swing from Mikey Denver, but a better dig. So great defense on both sides. Zion just take whatever it takes. He's getting that ball up.
Lead is now at 2, and that service error will end a 4-0 run for the Splitters. And Denver now back to serve for Santa Barbara. From the outside, Mendez hits the antenna, and pleading his case.
Yeah, I believe Mendez trying to say that it went off the block and then the antenna, but it definitely went straight to the antenna off his touch.
So it remains with Mikey Denver. Stepped up big in the last 2 matches for UC Santa Barbara. And a Gaucho block reignited here in the second, their 7th scoring block.
And a great block from Bruning here, 6 foot 10 inches. The tallest player for the Gauchos.
Gauchos back on top now by 1, and that ball's skyrocketed into the rafters here in the Thunderdome. Will be a point for the Splitters, tied at 8.
And the Splitters doing a great job at adjusting. Whenever they get blocked, it seems like they come back and swing high off hands.
Back to serve now is Reja Milosavljevic. 1 of 4 named to the IVA preseason team.
And it looks like a foot fault violation, so the point will go to the Gauchos. A tough serve, so that is a relief.
And here is George Bruning. Been huge in decisive moments. Just a redshirt sophomore, redshirted his freshman year. He's got an ace. 6th of the year for Bruning.
And it seems like Bruning is really coming into that leadership role for the Gauchos. He's been limited by injuries during his first 2 years here with UCSB, but he looks healthy and he looks very confident out there taking the majority of the swings.
Yeah, Bruning missed the majority of February last year. Having him healthy and swinging, so critical. That ball is swatted down, and Pilkvis picks up the kill, his first.
And a really smart swing there from Pilkvis. It's so easy to get caught in the net on that play. And I love the confidence from him. Just a freshman, but he is so steady out there.
It's been a set of runs. Now a 3-0 run for Santa Barbara. That's how they started this set. There's a 4-0 run by the Splitters, sandwiched between the Gaucho run. That will come to a close.
And Van Bar's really good look here from the back row. And let's watch for LMU to get him more involved, even when he is in the back row. Axel Van Bar is one of the seniors on this team.
And the other senior also has 16 attempts, both from the grown and Van Bar's. And Bruning, his 15th swing, give him 8.
And that's just undiggable. The perfect spot in the back corner. And like we've said, there's no difference in Bruning's efficiency, front row or back row. It's so seamless.
Out of the back row, once again, Van Bars.
So
first swing for Stevens, straight to the Gaucho wall.
And another big block from Mikey Denver, who has been so disciplined. Great reads at the net. Another look here as he sees which way and really dives into that.
Gaucho lead at 4. Van Bars went for the roll, and a misplay ball by the splitters, point Gauchos.
And that was the roll here to LMU with 3. So they're doing a great job defensively at the net. Almost every play, 3 blockers are up.
Lead is at 5 for the Gauchos. And that's offhands and a kill for Van Bars, the senior from the Netherlands.
And that's what Lincoln Memorial needs to do, is to not try to avoid the block, but use it. And Van Bars is definitely doing that. He has been the player with the most recent kills. They have been feeding him the ball.
The Riggs guy over the top of the block, and Riggs guy just his 4th kill. Prior to that, he was hitting 0 with 3 errors, but now his 4th.
And that was a great set from Schobel. You can see the connection, and a lot of these players all played club for Balboa Bay, so they have experience on the floor with them.
Tight to the net, and the Gauchos use their size. There was also a net violation as well, but a point for the Gauchos. You mentioned Balboa Bay, Katie, and that's what Rick McLaughlin, in terms of recruiting, right in their backyard, essentially, just a little bit south of UC Santa Barbara, and what that club produces year in and year out is incredible.
Yeah, and the Gauchos, every player from California.
Riggs guy from Newport Beach couldn't put that ball away. Zion kept it up, and a point for UCSB.
And the Gauchos really taking care of the details. You hear all of them calling that that ball is out.
And now a challenge on a net violation for Lincoln Memorial. Back to serve. 3-0 run from the start setter for UC Santa Barbara. Costa Mesa native. It's been his first year at Loyola Chicago. 2nd year with Santa Barbara. On the give and go, Negron, an unforced error. And off the right side, tattooed off hands by Negron.
So good little push here from LMU, some big swings, keeping the ball alive. And they're looking to build some momentum going into the 3rd set. Down by 6 here in set 2.
That will sail along. And a point for UCSB. So the Gauchos, first to 20 in this 2nd frame. It'll be Riggs guy. Spent some time over the summer with the USA U20 national team. And Katie, you were just talking about Balboa Bay, but how about all the players representing the United States this past summer at the Pan America Games? A lot of Gauchos part of that list, and net violation on Santa Barbara would have been a kill away for LMU.
Yeah, and it's big time to get that international experience during the summers and just continue really from their season.
George Bruni played with the U23 U.S. national team. Josh Ruya, the U21 national team. And looking for 6'10", Bruni, unforced error from 5 in blue, and a point for the Splitters.
And a rare error from Bruning tonight. A great set from Schobel. And it'll be Van Bars, the senior out of the Netherlands.
He's got an ace, had 11 entering today, and UC Santa Barbara will now call a timeout. Push from Lincoln Memorial. Gauchos on top by 4.
Different, a little bit of a sneaky set or quick set or moved around. Riggs guy thrives with that.
Off the right side, into the cross court for Johan Negron, senior from Puerto Rico. And Negron now has his 6th kill of the evening.
And Negron led the Splitters versus CSUN with 9 kills.
Katie, right now both teams hitting under 100.
And that has been throughout this match, really low hitting percentages. And the Gauchos looking for a net call there. They're going to be challenging that for the Splitters.
And what a charge by Lincoln Memorial in a set where the Gauchos were quick to 20. Nice control touch, tracked down at the net, joust, and won by Santa Barbara on the net.
Impressive joust from Mendez going up against George Bruning and 2 other Gaucho players, but he did tag the net.
Mendez, 6'6", outside, going up against the 6'10" opposite for Bruning, and it's George back to serve. Lead at 4 for Santa Barbara. Hittable ball for Saint. And a point on the overset.
Wow,
a double contact.
Yeah, interesting call. That one looked clean to me. But anytime you're sending the ball over the net is when they're looking to call that double contact.
And Rick McLaughlin to our right, immediately off the bench, talking to Derwin Jordan, the R2, about that call. And now Coach McLaughlin across the court talking with Heather Pickett, our up referee.
Yeah, it is hard to make that call because it was so close to the net that it was almost considered a joust, but I did see it as a set over, so.
Gauchos will get the serve back on the error from the service line. 23-19, and the sophomore Ethan Saint coming off the big Pepperdine series on to serve, and now 2 changes for the Splitters. A change in the setter. Roman Mallerwein will now enter the floor. Shahar exits, and also departing is Negron, the opposite. He is being replaced by Zayden Labresh, the senior from Alabama, is now on the floor. And here is the brand new setter. Finds the brand new outside, Labresh. And Zion, another big dig. He's been picking him up all night long for the Splitters. And George Bruning will miss an unforced error. Not too often you see that.
And like you said, Hunter, Zachary Zion, the libero for LMU, has been so good that it's maybe forcing to try to do a little too much there. Zion, the junior out of Webster, New York, has been lights out, picking up everything.
Zion's got 6 digs. This ball is tight. And once again, kept up by Zion. That's off the back edge of the court. Point for Santa Barbara. Set point coming for the Gauchos.
Riggs guy putting in the work. It's not coming easy, but he is on every play, taking care of the block, the out-of-system swing, the dig. He's a great team player.
Set point number 1 for Santa Barbara. And the Gauchos take the second. 25-20 over the Rail Splitters. Number 14 Gauchos have control of the match. Swept Pepperdine on Wednesday. The right side, Johan Negron, is given way to Zayden Labresh, who entered in his spot. But to the Gaucho opposite, George Bruning, he is roofed, and a quality start for Lincoln Memorial to start this 3rd quarter.
And that was all Milo Savajevic. He has been great tonight, offensively and defensively.
The Rail Splitters coming off the game against the CSUN Matadors, number 17th Matadors, with a hit 0-81. Got swept in straight sets. Zion once again, a nice pickup.
Back to him.
Give and go for Schobel, and he muscles it off hands. And the second time, Katie, the give and go for Cole Schobel.
And that was such a good push off hands, but that's going to be a challenge from Jacob Craig, the head coach at Lincoln Memorial, or he is trying to explain what he wants to challenge, and that's going to be a lift call.
So it will go down initially as a point for Santa Barbara.
And I think what's actually being challenged is that Lincoln Memorial saying Schobel was the last person who touched that ball, because the challenge had to deal with the touch call, not a lift.
Look at Derwin Jordan. Here's what he's taking a look at. Another great play, by the way, by the libero for Lincoln Memorial, Zion.
Yeah, Zachary Zion now with 9 digs.
Gauchos pick up their first point with the third set. They're growing, working from the outside. Cross-court kill for the senior from Puerto Rico.
And that is such an athlete. He just elevated and found open space.
Van Bars back to serve. Working on Ethan Saint. Nice dig by Van Bars. In transition, Mendez once again dunked down, but a point for Santa Barbara.
And a smart play from the Gauchos. They could tell that that ball was going to be on their side, but they were playing low on defense instead of challenging him, and they allowed him to make that over violation.
Cerebral play from Santa Barbara. Tied at 2. Gauchos lead the match 2-0. Ace serve, Schobel.
And Schobel does it all. He gets aces, assists, kills, digs. Such an all-around player.
20th ace on the year for number 15. Coming off such a massive series against Pepperdine. Lincoln Memorial able to reset the point. Free chance now for Santa Barbara.
And that's going to be a double violation called on Schobel. So unfortunate tight pass from Walmer, and Schobel tried to stand on the ground and make it work. But that time he was in the back row, could not jump.
Reja Milosavljevic on to serve, and he's got an ace.
And
5th of the year.
he has been the spark plug in this match, getting blocks, kills, now aces.
Named to the IBA preseason first team in the Intercollegiate Volleyball Association, so an ace and an error. So he's going to check out, give way for Zachary Zion, junior transfer from Webster, New York, the libero back on for Lincoln Memorial. As Riggs Guy, graduate 2 years ago from Newport Harbor High School, now a sophomore with UCSB. And out of the back row, missing. But Van Bars saying that there was a touch. But as it stands, an unforced error. And they're going to be a challenge at the net, see if there was a touch on Santa Barbara. But there was a touch.
And they are pumped at that challenge because it was really player initiated. Axel Van Bars was telling Coach Craig that there was definitely a touch.
So instead of Gauchos leading 5-4, is Lincoln Memorial to lead 5-4 after the challenge. So now Rick McLaughlin asking for an explanation from Derwin Jordan. That's why the delay now for Johan Negron to get this ball back in play. But you said it, Katie. Player initiated. Van Barge was adamant that there was a touch. Good challenge, and the point to the Splitters. Well, it was acting like a timeout.
A little freeze on the server.
Tied at 5, and here is Mikey Denver. Against Pepperdine on Wednesday. 4 kills, 500 efficiency. Second year with Santa Barbara, redshirted last year. And in the middle, Oisin Walsh, freshman for the Splitters.
Then a great quick set to Walsh here. Just his second kill, but he has been efficient, hitting 500.
This is a Rail Splitters team that lost their top setter and top offensive threat from last year's season that went 24-1. A lot of young components. As Mendez is sniffed out by the Gauchos, headlined by George Bruning.
And another great read on the block. They saw him slowing down to tip that ball, so delaying and swatting it back. And that's going to be the 10th block for the Gauchos.
Hey, what's that routine, bro? 8 seconds.
Bruning induces the overpass. Gauchos ahead in the point. And perfectly through the defenders. That ball is down by Negron. And Johan Negron, 6'4" opposite, picks up his 8th kill of the night.
And Negron leading the Splitters. Really consistent numbers out of him tonight.
The Gauchos will get the service back, and this is a Gaucho team for the second time this year. They lose to a team that's higher than them in the rankings in 5 sets and come back the next meeting and beat them. That's what the Gauchos did against Pepperdine on Wednesday, avenging a 5-set loss on the 14th. And also took down Stanford, both of which were played up north. Lost to Stanford in 5, then the next night 1 in 3. That's off the block and a point for the Splitters.
And Axel Van Bar's 8th kill of the night. He's been great with the tool.
Van Bar's 273 efficiency entering today. Back to serve now. Both teams hitting 100 in the match. Bruning covers his own swing. But a chance now for the Splitters in transition. Mendez look for a touch. No. Point for Santa Barbara.
And Mendez not letting anything off of that swing, going heavy and hard on his swing. Just misses hands.
It's Cole Schobel now to serve for the Gauchos in the second all-time meeting between Lincoln Memorial and UC Santa Barbara. Bruning is roofed as well, and those add up over the course of a match.
A couple of net violations,
Yes.
foot faults.
Zion's had a big night. He's been on the floor throughout the course of this match. And that ball cranked off hands. The kill for Colton Mendez, who got his 6th start of the year here this evening.
And again, a very aggressive swing from Mendez. It doesn't matter if he made an error the last swing. He's going for the kill.
Johan Negron service error. That's going to put Mikey Denver back to serve for UC Santa Barbara. Been no subs for the Gauchos. No subs on Wednesday. The Gauchos took down number 6 Pepperdine in straight sets. Things starting to get a little bit more solidified for Santa Barbara in terms of a lineup. And Colton Mendez providing a spark here in the 3rd for Lincoln Memorial.
And the 6th kill of the night for Mendez. He's still hitting in the negatives, but he's been coming up big with some crucial side outs to keep Lincoln Memorial in the lead.
And then here is Mendez. Really nice serve, handled well by Saint. And flying out of the backcourt, Mendez. No touch, point Gauchos.
Another aggressive attack. That one on two, so he was hitting off the dig.
And it's now George Bruning. Over the summer with Team USA, took silver in the Pan America Games, the U23 level.
And a big swing from Van Bars, elevating, hitting OT on that one.
Oisin Walsh, freshman from Oaklawn, Illinois, to serve. 2-point splitter lead. Tough first contact. Gauchos all out of sorts. And Lincoln Memorial now lead by 3.
And it started with that tough serve from the freshman Oisin Walsh. And you'll see a fair amount of the players today going with a float serve. And it's effective.
Walsh's run will come to a close. Lead is at 2, and Ethan St. now back to serve.
And Ethan St. last year used mostly as a serving sub, was reliable in that position, but this season has really come into a starting role as an outside hitter.
Quick set, dunked over, kept alive by Bruning. Walmer, 4 digs, 4 assists for the starting libero for Santa Barbara. On the give and go, Van Bars, tools, point for the Splitters.
And Van Bars doing a little bit of what Schobel usually does, that push off hands. Really smart play. That was with his left hand. Set pushed wide.
Here's Imbar Shahar. Started both games in the Massachusetts road trip. That was at Harvard. Out of system swing. And off hands, Johan Negron, lead back to 3 for Lincoln Memorial.
And Lincoln Memorial has been steaming ahead in this game, and this is where their momentum needs to stay consistent at the end of the set. And they've had some crucial service errors after big momentum plays.
And that service error will give Dylan Pilkvis the honors for UC Santa Barbara. Native of El Segundo, graduate last year of El Segundo High School. Van Bars had the reception, he's got the kill. Working off the right side this time for number 8 in white. And Van Bars has his 11th kill, leading all Splitters.
And Van Bars leading the entire floor tonight. 11 kills. And he has come alive later in this match.
Again, a big swing, followed up right by a service error, and that's just keeping the Gauchos in this set, who are currently hitting in the negative, and the Splitters hitting right about 250 in this third set.
And that's the highest hitting percentage we've seen from either team in this entire match. The first set, both teams hitting in the 100s. And that will be an opportunity for Lincoln Memorial.
Lead back to 3. Not before Jason Walmer comes back onto the floor for UC Santa Barbara. A chance for the Splitters with this 3-point edge. Try to get themselves back into the match. The Gauchos lead 2-0. Inducing the overpass. Big time swing coming up here for Lincoln Memorial. Mendez in transition. That ball is out of bounds and a point for the Splitters.
And a big swing again from Mendez. Mikey Denver working hard to get all the way to the pin, but Mendez able to tool his hands.
And now the first changes for Santa Barbara. In the last 2 matches, Ben Pearson has taken over for Ethan St. in the left back position. They work on Walmer off the serve. In transition, the perfect execution for Riggs Guy on the reception off the serve.
And again, in that one rotation where Riggs Guy is hitting from the right, he is more efficient than when we've seen him on the left. This is automatic. Such a good connection from Showbowl to Guy.
Ben Pearson remains in this match. First contact by Walmer. Here comes Bruning. And a big swing on the broken play by Shahar. Second bid now for Pearson. Big time block, Denver, Pearson.
And good perseverance from the Gauchos. A couple of heavy swings from Lincoln Memorial, but it's the block from Denver and Pearson to seal the deal.
So it's now a 20-18 edge for Lincoln Memorial. It's that part of the set when you really try to find your maturity and show your maturity and your execution down the stretch, trying to close out a game, especially for Lincoln Memorial, trying to stay in this match. And what a pancake by Walmer. Mendez. Walmer keeps it alive. That set was low. And a miscue by Santa Barbara. And will end in a Lincoln Memorial point, 21-18.
And great hustle from the Gauchos. Jason Walmer just everywhere. An unfortunate miscommunication, but it's great that everyone's going for the ball.
Negron will serve long, and again, Kate's one of those plays. You have the long rally, you pick up the point, and then another service error, and it just keeps it a 2-point third set.
Yeah, definitely a test for Lincoln Memorial and being consistent and finishing out this set.
Big time dig by Denver. Nice control touch on two, putting it down, Shahar.
Wow, Shahar with one of his first attempts at a kill there, and he is down on the floor. Unfortunately landed funky after that hit.
Here it is. Well, how about a big time dig by Denver?
And Denver has been phenomenal on defense. Here's a look. So you're going to see the dig from Zion, and then Shahar taking the swing. He comes down on neither foot. He actually lands on his side of his knee.
And he's back to his feet. Good to see. He walks it off, and it's a 22-19 lead for Lincoln Memorial. Katie, we've been talking about the errors, especially in this third set. But here's the change in the setters. So we hope Imbar Shahar's okay. Walking off to the bench. He will now be replaced by Roman Mallerwein. Mallerwein, the freshman from Nashville. On now to set. It'll be Colton Mendez.
Good pass from Pearson.
Free chance now for Santa Barbara. Need to put this one away. Hittable for Mendez, and that's off the block, out of bounds. Bruning is adamant, but that's all landed on the splitter side of the floor. We'll take a look.
Another look here. Oh, it just missed the screen, but that looked so close to the line.
It will be a Lincoln Memorial point, 23-19 in the splitters. Trailing 2 sets to none, looking to force a fourth. Bruning is turned away. Walsh got a big part of it. Set point coming for the Splitters.
And Schobel continuing to go to Bruning. I'd love to see him set the middle. Dylan Pilkvist working hard to be available, and he's going to have less blockers on him.
Set point number 1. It'll end as an ace. And Lincoln Memorial take the third.
And Lincoln Memorial just never has given up. And that was a great win for them as they stormed back from trailing in the second set, continuing to find ways to score.
Nicole Schobel to kick off this set. In case you're wondering, Ethan Saint back on the floor. We saw him depart in that third frame. Ben Pearson took over for him. But it will be Saint to start off this set. And also, Imbar Shahar, who had that awkward fall when he picked up a kill, is back on the floor on the LMU side. And he is back now setting for the Splitters. That's good to see.
Yeah, he has been great tonight.
As has the libero Zion. Nice control touch from Santa Barbara. And Riggs Guy paints the side.
And that's a gutsy swing, hard to do. He's off the net. He goes for that sharp angle swing. And it is down. No one is there.
Cole Schobel so far tonight, just 15 assists, but he has 9 digs. Along with some good offense, setting up the middle. Reja Milosavljevic, the junior from Serbia.
Such a good connection there, and you see that it's a great set because he only has one blocker up with him.
And Bar Shahar, as we just mentioned, who exited that last set, that's little lower body ailment, back on to serve. And Mikey Denver out of the middle for UCSB.
And that's just his first kill, but it doesn't seem like it because Mikey Denver has been putting in the work, especially on the blocking side of it. But he's also been taking great swings. Just the defense of LMU has been on it.
And that ball will miss out of bounds. Not quite coming off the hand correctly for Milosavljevic. Early 3-1 lead for UC Santa Barbara. Riggs Guy working on Van Bar's ace serve for Santa Barbara.
And so great energy out of that set 3 loss. Riggs Guy firing off the service ace.
This match on the heels after taking down number 6 Pepperdine in straight sets. Big upset for UC Santa Barbara, ranked number 14. That's on the inside of the block. And once again, Van Bars, his now 13th kill, and this time working off that right side, starting outside for the Splitters.
And now Van Bars goes to the back row. He will serve, but keep an eye on him because he's had a lot of success hitting from the back row.
Sets up a rocket of a serve. And a free chance now for the Splitters. On 2, it's Van Bars at back row, but an unforced error.
And it looks like the yellow card given to the Gauchos.
It's going to be assessed to Riggs Guy if you heard a public address announcer in the building.
We didn't hear anything, but
it is a Gaucho 5-2 lead. Lead the match 2 sets to 1. Won the first 25-22, 25-20 in the second, and the Splitters won 25-19 in the third. On the give and go, that never cleared the net. Oh, there was a touch. So a kill for Riggs Guy out of the back row.
And again, Schobel does a great job at getting that quick set out to Riggs Guy and he can use the block.
This is Mikey Denver, a graduate a couple years back from Santa Barbara High School. That's out of bounds and off hands. And Colton Mendez, using all of his time available tonight in his 6th start of the season.
And good body awareness from him, that cover ball. He almost wanted to save it, but it was going out.
Milosavljevic on to serve. Gauchos lead by 3 and now lead by 4. Now to the middle, Pilkvist.
And that's just the second kill from Dylan Pilkvist. But again, I love that set from Schobel. I think that the middles are such a threat for UCSB, but they don't get a ton of sets.
This man has received a lot of sets tonight. 28 on the serve by Bruning. Couldn't shovel that one up. That was coming in a missile. Coming up high, and a point for the Splitters.
And the third kill from Oisin Walsh, no errors, so he has been very efficient tonight.
Johan Negron, last year, had 140 kills, enters tonight, leading the team with 103. And on the service error, Katie, that's now the 18th service error of the night for Lincoln Memorial. And that really kept UC Santa Barbara in the last set until that 4-0 run for LMU put the set away. That's 18th error, just a 3 for UC Santa Barbara, and the discrepancy behind the service line. Here comes Bruning out of the back row. And Bruning into double figures with 10.
And what a play from the Gauchos. That's going to force the Splitters into a timeout. Look at that connection. No blockers up. And the Gauchos are rolling through here in set 4.
Lead 9-4. They lead the match 2 sets to 1. And the number 19 Rail Splitters forced to call a timeout. Katie, right now the Gauchos hitting 1,005 of 5 so far in this set, and that's a completely different story than the match, and they're still hitting under 100 in the match. But this 4th set, different story.
Yeah, the Gauchos have struggled on their hitting efficiency. Props to Lincoln Memorial's great defense, but this set has been far more efficient.
To the outside, dug by Walmer. Riggs guys enough room to operate. Free chance for Lincoln Memorial. And the block from Santa Barbara. Rejection on Van Bars.
And a big block from Dylan Pilkvist, shutting down Van Bars, who has been hard to stop tonight. And you look at that read.
11th block for Santa Barbara. There have been 7 for Lincoln Memorial, and that's just the 5th service error. So you look at the service game, Katie. That is now just the 4th error, for Santa Barbara. They've got 4 aces. But 18 errors for the men in white to just 4 aces.
That's a huge difference. So the Gauchos sneaking by with some subpar hitting efficiency because Lincoln Memorial is missing so many serves.
The lead is 5. Transition look. Bruning. He's got it. Give him 11.
And a good give and go there. The pass from George Bruning, and then Schobel goes right back to him. It's hard to tell, but that is a back row attack from Bruning.
Back now to serve Dylan Pilkvist. On Wednesday against Pepperdine. Picked up a career best 9 digs. Will miss there. Point for LMU.
And a rare miss. I've been really impressed with the consistency of Dylan Pilkvist's serve. He's just a freshman. He's coming in, starting at the middle, but it's tough to have a strong, consistent serve at this level, and he has been very consistent.
In that middle blocker position, one of the positions that the Gaucho coaching staff most excited about this season. And right on cue, Mikey Denver out of the middle, who stepped up big in recent matches.
And that looked so good. That connection was there. Mikey Denver was up, strong swing, just his 2nd kill of the night, but only has had 5 attempts.
Santa Barbara doubling up Lincoln Memorial. Service error from Cole Schobel. Right a moment ago, just 3 service errors on the match. And through the first 3 sets, they've had 3 in a span of minutes for UC Santa Barbara. And Barsha hard. And a hard swing, and that's off the antenna for Riggs Guy. And a point for the Splitters.
And a good look there. Guy knew that the line was open. Sneaks it by, but Just a little too sharp down that line. And it looks like there will be a back row attack called on Ethan Saint.
And a timeout called by UC Santa Barbara, and Lincoln Memorial on a run. Gauchos lead the match 2-1, lead the fourth 12-9.
And Lincoln Memorial, again, doing a great job at just not letting the Gauchos get away with free points. They're making them earn every play. Just a minute ago, it was 6-12. Now 9-12. They're continuing to put the pressure on the Gauchos.
3-0 run for Lincoln Memorial School out of Harrogate, Tennessee, chartered in 1897 by Civil War veterans. Enrollment of 6,000. Forcing Rick McLaughlin to call a timeout. Coach McLaughlin, 17th year at the helm. Conversely, Jacob Craig, first year as an interim head coach, on the knee, addressing his unit. You said it, Katie, after the second set, the energy that Lincoln Memorial had, able to take that third set and push here in the fourth.
Yeah, it's impressive, especially being on the road and going up against these top teams in the country, and they're showing such a good fight about them. They have the talent, and I think for them it's mostly about limiting those errors.
And their West Coast swing, taking on number 17 CSUN, lost in straight sets. Take one from Santa Barbara. Number 14 Gauchos play number 6 Pepperdine tomorrow. But out of the timeout, Riggs Guy into the cross court. Well, executed out of the timeout for UCSB.
And a great quick set from Schobel. This one barely clears tape, and it allows Riggs Guy to find a seam in the block.
And talking about the experience for UC Santa Barbara at the international level, Riggs Guy won gold at the Pan America Games with the U21 national team. That's a stab. Will be nullified on the stab by Jason Walmer on a net violation.
It looks like a net violation called on Mikey Denver there.
So after it was a 12-6 lead for UC Santa Barbara, the lead is 3. Here's Van Bars.
Great pass from Walmer.
Tracked down, long way to get it over. And Shahar does just that. Fantastic control touch. Oh, what a swing in transition for Van Bars, and a big point for Lincoln Memorial.
And I think that play embodies Lincoln Memorial. They were down, they were giving the Gauchos a free ball, but then they steady it out with their defense. Zachary Zion controlling that back row, and it's Van Bar with the put away.
Zion now with 11 digs. And Katie, another one of those moments. You pick up the massive rally, and you give it right back. Your 19th service error to just 6 service errors for UCSB.
And the Gauchos have a great service ratio in this match.
Good control touch from the Gauchos. Schobel, Saint, 15th point for Santa Barbara.
And that is credit to a perfect dig from Mikey Denver. And he grew up playing down at East Beach. Playing beach volleyball gives you a lot of that ball control, and he is a middle blocker, but he has to play this one rotation of defense.
And Denver twice named first team All-Channel Island League selection with Santa Barbara High School. He's going to check out. Walmer back in. And now for Lincoln Memorial, back to serve. Bireya Milosajovic, 6'6" middle blocker. Lead is at 3 for Santa Barbara. And out of the middle, Dylan Pilkvist.
And I love that play. Again, Dylan Pilkvist has been working so hard to be available, and that's just his 3rd kill, but again, only 6 attempts, so he's making the most.
Here's George Bruning, just recently picked up his 10th dig of the match. He's got a double-double to go along with 11 kills. So 4 blocks for Bruni. Couple times recycle and put away by Walsh, the freshman.
And that was such a good play by Inbar Shahar, really baiting that block to jump with him and then shooting it to Walsh.
Katie, we've now seen this substitution twice. Mallory, the freshman, in along with Lebrecht, the senior. Any reason why, you think?
Just a different look, getting Roman on the service line, putting some pressure on the Gauchos and maybe, you know, making it hard for the Gauchos to know where he's going to go setting.
The Gauchos go to Bruning, hammers down line.
And Bruning now with 12 kills, leading the Gauchos, but just hitting around 100.
Here's Ethan Saint. Gaucho lead by 4. There's a 6-3 outside. Working on Van Bars. Nice block touch. Sets up the back row. Van Bars produces once again. Leading 15 kills for all attackers here tonight.
That's a great changeup. He sees a 3-person block in front of him, and he knows there's no wing players on defense, so it leaves that short middle open.
Mallory and Lebrecht remain on the floor after the substitutions. Another nice control touch to slow down the swing by Riggs Guy. We're looking for a touch. For hands, there was none. Point for UCSB.
But Zachary Zion with 13 digs. He has been keeping LMU alive in so many rallies.
Zion has 72 digs entering today. The junior transfer from DeUville University, New York native. Mallerwine into the middle. Walsh, no touch. Point Santa Barbara, and a big unforced error.
And it looks like there will be a challenge on that play.
So as it stands, 19-14 Santa Barbara. The Rail Splitters, after a tough showing on Wednesday against the CSUN Matadors, force a 4th. And now going to the green card and challenging, see if there was a touch on that swing by Walsh out of the middle.
Very flat swing from Walsh, no top spin. The set was a little low. And they usually look at to see if any of the fingers of the blockers were bent back when the ball was passing them. So look at Mikey Denver here. It does look like one of his fingers moves on that play.
Number 14, Santa Barbara, selected in a tie for 4th in the Big West preseason poll with them. CSUN and UC San Diego. Facing the Lincoln Memorial team. Picked number 1 in the IVA preseason poll, the Intercollegiate Volleyball Association. And the Splitters, their West Coast trip, team located and based at Harrogate, Tennessee. Long way from home on this Friday evening in February from the Central California coast. But Derwin Jordan saying that there was no touch. So an unsuccessful challenge for Lincoln Memorial, and it remains a 19-14 scoreline. And it's going to be with Dylan Pilkvist. 3 kills, no errors on 6 swings. And we were talking about it earlier, but for UC Santa Barbara, their middle blocker position, very excited about it entering this season. You have the Pilkvist twins, Dylan, along with Ryan, Josh Arulia, Mikey Denver, also some other guys that played in the middle for UC Santa Barbara. And the Gauchos now lead 20-14.
And Dylan Pilkvist has one of the most service attempt numbers on the team right now, and that means that he's at the service line the most, and it's due to his consistent serving. He puts a lot of pressure on LMU with this deep float serve.
Working on Zion. Chance to restart the point for the Splitters, and they do in the middle with Walsh.
And again, a great look out of the middle for Walsh, and that's because they're getting that one-on-one connection. The blockers for UCSB are bailing to go to the pins.
Here's Oisin Walsh, freshman from Oaklawn, Illinois. That ball tight to the net. Bruning does well just to get it over. Van Bars, dug by Walmer. That ball is tight to the pin, and an unforced error for Santa Barbara. Point for Lincoln Memorial.
And again, Lincoln Memorial doing a great job at just staying in a rally. That was an insane cover play. That ball set too far outside.
Remains with Walsh, 6'4" middle blocker. Going to Bruning on the back row combination. And George Bruning has his 13th kill.
And a smart attack down the line for Bruning, aiming at Oisin Walsh, the middle blocker.
Cole Schobel now back to serve. 26 assists, 2 kills, 9 digs for the starting center for UCSB. And a net on Lincoln Memorial will give the Gauchos their 22nd point of the fourth set.
And great work by Mikey Denver, Riggs' guy, to get that block.
The net on LeBrecht, the senior from Leeds, Alabama. Did not start this match. He entered as one of the outsides. And a big-time block from Bruning and Denver.
Wow. And the Gauchos with 12 blocks are going to take a second to rest as LMU tries to find an answer late in this fourth set.
Lincoln Memorial 7-4 entering today. UC Santa Barbara 7-5 entering today. Gauchos, a good number of their oppositions have been against some of the top-ranked teams in the country. Gauchos now on a 3-0 run, a few points away from taking out Lincoln Memorial in 4. And when this is all said and done, what do you think both teams will look at in this match, Katie?
I think for the Gauchos, they've struggled to find efficiency on their attack, but in this fourth set, they're hitting 450 after barely hitting over 100 all match. So they've found some rhythm there. For LMU, I think it's really about limiting their errors, specifically on the service line, as they have 18 service errors. And they also are learning how to finish tight sets against top-ranked teams in the country. They've done such a good job at staying with the team the whole way, but at the end is where they really need to focus on limiting those errors and finishing the game.
And that was really the story last year for the coaching staff for UC Santa Barbara. A lot of their discussion late in the season. You start progressing. You had a young team last year, a little bit more veteran now for UC Santa Barbara. It's that maturity just to close out sets. Every team has to go through, and that's just the difference between the top teams in the country, the teams below them. Fantastic covers and digs from Santa Barbara. Sets up the middle and finishing the play, Mila Savjovic.
And that's his 6th kill of the night. Whenever they need a point long in a rally, it seems he is there to answer a phenomenal swing.
Changes now for Lincoln Memorial. LeBrecht off, Mallerwine off as well. Imbar Shahar back in along with Johan Negron. 17 serving 23. Schobel, Saint missed out of bounds, and an unforced error for the Gauchos. Point Splitters.
And it looked good, a good matchup for Saint, but just airing long. Saint struggling, hitting in the negative tonight offensively.
Remains the man from Serbia. Denver covers his own shot, sets up Riggs Guy. Not a system look. Bruning from the left side of the net will pick up the kill, his 14th of the night.
And a great swing from Bruning on the left side. So we're now seeing him play the majority of the points on the right side. So that's the one rotation you'll see him on the left, but really a great look for him.
Match point number 1 for Santa Barbara. Chance to put it away right here. That ball will fall, and Lincoln Memorial stay alive just a little bit longer.
Another look here at that block. A great seal out of the middle.
National Van Bars to serve match point number 2 for Santa Barbara. And the Gauchos will take the match in 4, claiming the 4th set 25-19 over Lincoln Memorial.
And the Gauchos seal it in 4, but not without a fight. Lincoln Memorial